What if I told you that your mind could be a built-in, an incredible structure designed by you to hold absolutely anything you want to remember? And no, it's not science fiction, not at all. It's actually an ancient blueprint for memory, and we're about to rediscover it together. You've seen these people, right? The ones who can memorize thousands of digits of pi or the exact order of, multiple decks of shuffled cards. It looks like a straight-up superpower. So how on earth do they do it? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. Scientists were sure these memory athletes had to have, different brains. So they put them in fMRI machines, scanned them, and guess what? Nothing. Their brains look exactly like yours and mine. The only difference was how they were using them. They were lighting up the parts of the brain that we use for getting around, for spatial navigation. They were basically turning abstract data into a journey. And get this trick is ancient. We're talking more than 2,000 years ago, when the Roman orator Cicero wrote these exact words. He knew that our minds don't just store memories, they place them. And that little insight, that's the key to the whole thing. Okay, so let's dive into where this all came from. We're going to go way back to the origin story of this mental superpower. And it's a story that starts, believe it or not, with a total disaster. Yep, we're headed to ancient Greece, to a banquet that went horribly wrong, and, in the process, changed everything we thought we knew about memory. So, picture this. The Greek poet Simonides of Ceos is at this big fancy party. He steps out for just a second and, bam, the roof of the whole banquet hall comes crashing down. Everyone inside is killed. It's a horrific scene. The victims are unrecognizable. But then, Simonides does something incredible. He just closes his eyes, and he's able to name every single person who died. Not by their face, but by remembering exactly where each person was sitting. And that was the light bulb moment. In that tragedy, Simonides realized our memory isn't just some long list of facts. It's a map. It's spatial. If you can place information somewhere familiar in your mind, you can find it again, perfectly. He had literally stumbled upon the hidden architecture of memory itself. Okay, so that's the wild origin story. Cool, right? But how do you actually do it? How can you build one of these memory palaces for yourself? Well, it's actually way easier than you might think. It really just comes down to 3 basic steps. All right, step 1, you choose a place you know like the back of your hand. Your house is perfect. And then you decide on a specific path through it. The spots along your path, the front door, the couch, the fridge, those are what we call loci. Step 2, you take the thing you want to remember and turn it into the weirdest, most vivid image you can think of. And step 3, you just mentally place that crazy image at each stop along your path. But not just any image will do. You have to make it impossible to forget. For it to really work, it has to be active. Don't just picture a carton of milk, picture a giant wave of milk crashing through your front door. It also needs to be bizarre. The weirder, the better, because our brains are wired to notice things that are out of place. And finally, you gotta get your senses involved. Can you feel that cold splash? Hear the sound it makes? Can you smell it? That's what really cements it in your mind. And this idea was so powerful, it didn't just stay in Greece. Nope. It spread like wildfire across empires, adapting to new cultures and becoming this essential tool for thinkers all over the world. I mean, you had Roman orators using it to give these epic speeches completely from memory. Then, during the Renaissance, people built these incredible, complex memory theaters in their minds to organize like all of human knowledge. And then you have this Jesuit missionary, Matteo Ricci, who took it to China in the 1500s and used it to connect with Chinese scholars. It was a game changer. And what Ricci did was just brilliant. To teach his hosts, he adapted the method to the Chinese characters themselves. So take the character for war. He broke it down for his students. Look, he said, it's made of 2 smaller parts. This symbol here means spear, and this other part means to prevent. Then, he told them to combine those 2 ideas into one single powerful image, a warrior being stopped from using his spear. See what he did there? He turned an abstract symbol into a mini story, something you could actually see and place in a memory palace. It made it totally unforgettable, just a perfect showcase of how flexible this whole technique is. Okay, so we've got the tragic origin story, we've got the how-to, and we know it's traveled the globe. But the big question remains, why does it work so darn well? For that, we gotta look at what's actually going on inside our brains. Basically, when you use a memory palace, you're hijacking your brain's built-in GPS. I mean, this is a system that's been evolving for millions of years to help us find our way around.
So when you do this, brain regions like the hippocampus, your internal map, and the paracampal hippocampus, your landmark detector, they just light up. You're taking boring, abstract stuff and tricking your brain into filing it away on this super powerful spatial framework it already has. There's also this cool idea called dual coding theory that explains a lot. It's really simple. Our brain has two channels to process stuff, one for words and a separate one for images. Now think about how we usually study. It's almost all words, right? We're only using one channel. But the memory palace forces you to use both. You take a word, turn it into a picture, and put it in a place. Suddenly you have two separate trails leading to that same memory, which makes it way, way stronger. And this isn't just theory. We can actually measure the results. In a recent study, they had people use a memory palace inside a virtual reality to memorize stuff. The result? They recalled 28% more than the group that didn't. 28%. That's a massive difference. And it's all from applying this ancient trick with a little modern tech. And that brings us right back to today. This thing is 2,500 years old, but it is not some dusty historical artifact. It's an incredibly powerful tool that's perfect for the challenges we face right now. Just think about the applications. You've got med students memorizing all of human anatomy with it. People learning new languages are building massive vocabularies super fast. Public speakers are giving entire talks without notes. Heck, even programmers are using it to lock in complex code. It's like this universal key for learning pretty much anything complicated. And the future? It's going to be even cooler. I'm talking about technologies like VR. They're going to make this method easy for absolutely everyone. Imagine, instead of just trying to visualize a palace in your head, you could actually put on a headset and walk through it, physically placing your memories around. It's going to make the whole process feel completely natural. So there you have it. From a disaster in ancient Greece, all the way to the edge of virtual reality. This incredible architecture for memory has been with us the whole time, just waiting. You now have the blueprint. So the only real question is, what palace are you going to build?